Hi everyone, Clovis here from Kinematic Lab. In this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to use OverMorpher PoseSpace modifier. So I have this character skinned on a biped and I will add an OverMorpher PoseSpace. So what is it? It's like a morpher modifier, but instead of happening before a skinning, it happens on top of it without collapsing it. So it's a little bit like the skin morph modifier, but instead of using the angles between the bones to trigger the morphers, it's using distances between point helpers, which solves the angle problem of the skin morph. When you have more than one free angle, sometimes the skin morph collapses the angles. That's because of Euler calculations. And when a pose should still be here, sometimes it's not, or it disappears too fast. And that's a problem. So I'm going to show you how to use this one instead. I will want to correct this pose. Okay, you see that the mesh here overlaps and it loses volume. So I will correct this pose. How to do that is simply create a point helper and align it to the hand bone. Okay. I will parent it to the forearm and call it hand ref. So now it's linked to my bone and it follows the bone rotation. And I want to correct the pose at this specific frame, okay? So in this pose context. So what I'm doing now is I'm doing a copy of this point helper and unlink it so it's not linked to the hand. I will remove the rotation value, put them to 0. I will explain that later. And I will parent it to the upper arm and call it arm bend. I will change its color and its size like that. Okay. So in my modifier, I will add a reference object, the green point, hand ref. And for this reference object, I will add a target, which is the blue object, the arm bend. So you can add more targets to this ref, depending on what you want to correct. If it's an elbow, you can have a target for up, down, front and back, for example. But for biceps like that, only one is enough. Then I go to the pose I want to correct at the right frame and create a pose, corrective pose here with the plus button. It makes a snapshot of the mesh that you can correct. Okay. So you do that with your modeling tool. You can use Max, you can export it to another package like ZBrush or Mudbox to correct it, depending on the resolution of your mesh. It's going to be easier. I already did a corrective before, so I will use it. So I bulged a little bit the biceps, correct this with a little wrinkle here and make the elbow looks better as well. And then you can update the corrective with the update button. But here, because I'm using another mesh, I can use the pick new button and it's updating the mesh here. So when I play the animation, you see that this morph is triggered by the distance between these 2 points. Okay, and you see the value here growing. Okay, it's the percentage of distance between these two. So we created a pose at 1, okay, so 100%. And you see that it's not really doing what we want here, so you can adjust the speed with the fall-off value here to have something better. And it's already looking a lot better. But it's not perfect, so I would like to correct this specific pose as well. So I'm putting this value back to 100. And I will create an in-between. You could add another target object here, but it's going to behave better with in-betweens. So I'm creating a new pose that I can correct again. But like for the other one, I already did it. But just to show you, I correct the pose like that. And if I press the update, it updates with this one. But I'm not going to use it. I'm going to use the one I did before and use the pick button. Right. So now when I play the animation, it's going through these 2 correctives, okay? And you still can change this fall-off value to tweak it a little bit more. And now it's looking good. You also have an access to the saved percentage per pose, okay? So you can also tweak this value a little bit if you want. So it can happen a little bit before or later. Okay. You have an extract pose button, so you can extract the selected pose of this list to continue to tweak it if you deleted these ones. You can turn off this target, and you can add more reference objects. So let's do another reference object for the arm up. Okay, so I'm going to move them away. And I will create another point helper, align it to the upper arm here, make it a little bigger, and I will call it arm ref. I link it to the upper arm. Okay, so it's not linked. Okay, and now I want to correct this specific pose. So what is good with OverMorpher PoseSpace is that you can correct some poses which are a combination of different bones movements, which is something you can't really do with the skin morph. You have to split the corrective poses per bones, okay, because it's only detecting the angles between these two or the angles between these two. In this case, you don't have to do that because it's just based on point distances. Okay, so I created another point aligned to the reference point at this position, and I will call it arm up. In the ref objects list, I will add this one, okay? So this is my arm ref. And this arm ref will have a target, which is going to be the arm up. And then I'm going at the frame I want to correct, create a corrective morph, and start to correct it. As you can expect now, I already did it before, so I will delete this one and show my other poses. Here it is. So I pick this new mesh and it updates this pose. It's already working pretty well, I think. You can see the difference here. Now I'm going to create another target for an arm down pose. So I'm creating a point helper, align it here. And I will parent it to the chest. Okay. I will call it arm down. And add it to the arm ref target list. Arm down. And for this specific target, again, I'm creating a corrective morph. I will delete this one because I still have this one, okay, and I will pick it so it corrects this area. And something weird is happening here because the arm up is still a little bit active. You see there is a result here. So to avoid that, I will have to create a target at the rest pose. So I duplicate this point and align it to the reference here and call it arm base. Okay. And I will parent it to the chest. So now you see that if I add it to the target list, it's going to solve my problem, and I have exactly here what I want. Now let's say that your rig is done and you want to copy these corrective morphs and targets on the other side. So first, what you have to do manually is create the point helpers, the same. So it's going to be handref right. This one is going to be handref left. Okay. I need the same here, so I'm going to make a copy. Move it to the other side. Change the name of this one to left. Okay. And parent it here. Okay. Now I have to add these new objects in my list. So my reference object, I need the arm right. Okay, the hand right, sorry, and the armband right. So that's really important to have this underscore R and underscore L on the other side. That's the only way for the plugin to know that it's supposed to be one side and another side to make the mirror. So I'm going to the hand ref left, okay, which is this, and I want to mirror these two in-betweens on the other side. So I'm going to select them, or one by one, and press the mirror button. So now if you go to the hand ref right, you see that it has the same corrective, but on the other side. So it's done for you. Now it's linked into the modifier, and you don't have to sculpt them yourself. So now you can create much more targets if you want for the arm in, like that, or arm out, and the same for the chest, for the neck, the head rotations, the hand. You can correct all the poses you want with a lot of references, objects, targets, etc. But it takes a bit of time, but that's something you have to do sometimes. Also, when you add more and more targets, it can slow down your rig, okay? So of course you can turn this off in viewport. So this is going to be just a render effect. So you animate without it. And when you are rigging, okay, when you are doing the corrective targets and you want to check them, you can mute some of them, okay, or solo them. So just one is going to be showed or everything.